What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to Wealth Wednesday. The date is 9/1. We're starting a little late, 8:10, but we'll get our stuff inside of this contact. Hey, Auntie, what's going on? I'm Bev. How you doing? Nice to see you on here. Hope everyone's doing well. If you guys can see, we've got some little different decor in the back. As the program continues to grow, we're gonna, health is wealth, but so is nature, and we're gonna try and add things. So, let's make sure that we're always improving on our situation, right? So let's make sure our mic check is good. Mic check sounds great. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Wealth Wednesday. Date is now 9/1. Thanks for joining us. So today's episode, everyone, is going to be about our financial literacy program. So we have created a financial literacy program. And right now we're in the process of having our first set of students go through. And it's cool because, this is a way for us to give back. One of the things that we've always wanted to do, and if you haven't followed us before and you don't know much about us, we are The Way. It is a nonprofit based outside of New York. My name is Benaj, also known as Benagio on here. And I'm one of the co-founders of The Way. The purpose of what we do is to create opportunities for folks in the areas of financial literacy, relationships, and philanthropy. Next week, what we're going to actually talk about is when we're going to talk about our core, our third core principle, which is our philanthropy part. We've been partnering with nonprofits and organizations in the New York City area, as well as in other parts of the country that are doing amazing things, even in Puerto Rico as well. And I want to kind of highlight some of the work that we're doing outside of just, those three areas of financial literacy, relationships, and philanthropy. So a lot of the groups that we've worked with and partnered with, we do things with them like guest appearances to talk about financial things. We'll, do little events when it comes to, just different, Zoom meetings of natures that we can do that with because, this is COVID, so you can't really do a lot of in-person things. I was actually blessed to be a part of a group of young kids upstate New York that were going through a program called Emerge. And actually next week, I'll talk a little bit more about what Emerge is and what they do. Because again, it's groups like that are putting, positivity into our community, especially into our young Black boys. I definitely support and encourage that because I feel like that's going to be a really good way to help our community as a whole grow. When you look at the graduation rates of Black boys, that they're the lowest in the country. And there's a reason for that, right? So being able to set aside a specific, time to encourage and support and uplift these young kings, it's going to be important for our future. So I love partnering and sponsoring and, encouraging that type of effort. So that's what we do at The Way. One of the things that I'm going to talk about today, though, is we are going to be collecting funds, and we don't really talk about panhandling. We don't do that out here, but we do have our nonprofit arm, which I definitely want to make sure that you guys are aware of. So our philanthropy opportunity at The Way is to help us with our financial literacy program. So the goal for this program is for us to create it's a 10-week program, and it has 5 different chapters. And in that program, the goal is to have folks literally start building their financial future from the ground up. Now, this is good for anybody. You don't have to just be a kid between the ages of 12 and 17, like it says on here. Between 7 and 17 years old are the age brackets for the kids that we're going to be working with, but it's for anybody. Our students range in ages, and we want to make sure that whatever we're teaching the kids, we teach the parents as well. And a lot of you young adults and folks who are between the ages of 21 and 37, where you're in the crux of your career, trying to figure out what your career path is going to be, what you want to do in life, all of these things. This is the area that I'll definitely consider our sweet spot, where we can literally look at what you're doing and then give you some really good pointers as to how to make it happen. But here's the ask. As we're building this program out and we're getting on students, we want to be able to build out an app for the program. That way, once you decide to join on, you'll just download the app, The Way Financial Literacy app. And from there, you'll go through the chapters, have the resources available to you. And to do that's going to cost a little bit of money just to kind of build out. So that's what we're kind of working towards right now. So any donations to our organization, you can find it if you go to our website, which is located on our YouTube channel. You can find it on The Way's actual Instagram handle. You'll see the website there. And there's a donate button near the section. So if you feel like you've gotten some valuable things from our shows over the last year, Hopefully you can find it in your heart to donate a little contribution, which will go towards the building of that app. All right. So let's go into a little bit about what this course is, because I want to kind of give folks an understanding of what our offering is. I think a lot of the people that I've met, whether it be through Clubhouse or just through Instagram, they have been really, really interested in learning how to build their financial portfolio from wherever it started, right? So, one of the first chapters that we have in our program is called the Foundations chapter, chapter 1, the core of finance. Now, we call it that because in our understanding of finance, it's sort of like building a tower. You know what I mean? The deeper you dig, the higher you can build. So if you want to build a 100-story skyscraper, you've got to dig probably 80 stories down in order to stabilize that building, right? Similar to that is why we would say that the core of finance, whatever you dig down, to build your financial picture together, that's going to be the most important part of your journey. Because if you build it shallow, it'll collapse. If you build it deep, it will survive and withstand any type of issue that comes up in life. And that's one thing you can't predict, is what life's issues will be. So step 1, chapter 1 is going to be foundations, and that'll give us the groundwork for, what your financial picture will look like. Now, chapter 2, so each chapter is 2 weeks. All right. So the first week you get assigned homework. The second week we go over your homework, and then we make sure that there's proficiency in all of the areas of that first unit, right? So it takes 2 weeks to go through the work. And then the second week, we make sure that you have every piece of detail that you need, right? The second chapter is debt reconstruction. So I needed this needed to be in here because a lot of us have debt and we don't know the right way to manage that debt. We don't know how to organize which cards we pay first, which cards we pay second. Sometimes we don't even know how we want to proceed with whether or not we want to take on more credit cards, whether we want to limit how much credit cards we have. All of these are decisions that you have to make, understanding what your actual financial goal is with your debt. Do you want to be debt free? Do you want to have a certain amount of debt that's business related? Like, for example, myself, I have an Amex credit card, and that's the card that I use for all my business expenses. So any of the eating out with clients, or going on road trips to go see properties, or to go do or handle contracts, all of those business type of events that I'm doing, I spend it on my Amex card. So typically at the end of the year, when I do my Schedule C and I get my deductions, I literally will pay that off. But that's the type of debt that I want to incur. I'm using other people's money to run my business. It's like getting a loan from the bank, a business loan for your company. It's the same thing. I'm just doing it on a personal level. So the goal is to have your, your understanding of what your debt's supposed to do for you, right? Now, as part of our course, we want to make sure that we acknowledge and help you manage how your debt's supposed to look. Because again, if you don't manage your debt the right way, it'll destroy you. That's what debt can do. It accumulates, it grows, whether you want it to or not. And the goal is to manage the right type of debt, right? So you want to make sure that whatever debt you have, you're managing it correctly, and you know exactly how long you'll need to pay it off. And that's one of the strategies that we'll teach you in that. Our third chapter is our savings chapter. Now, once we've given you the core foundations of finance, and once we've understood your level of debt or what type of debt you currently have, and put together a strategy as how we're going to eliminate that. Well, step 3 is, once the debt is gone, how do we establish a consistent form of savings that will keep us out of having to accrue that kind of debt in the future? Savings has a really important role in your life, especially in finance. You have to make sure that you understand, what savings is doing for you as well as for your loved ones. Because if there's an emergency in your family, right, and you don't have a savings account, how are you going to help them in the hospital? How are you going to help them tow their car or fix a certain part? Like, all of these things that you want to do for other people, if you're not good, you can't then offer that assistance to someone else. When you're on an airport, they say, put your mask on first and then let the other people put on their mask afterwards, right? Help someone else with their mask. Same with finance. If you're the one in need, right, you would hope that someone in your corner had some access to funding that they could utilize for you. So our third chapter is savings, teaches you the core of savings, why it's important to save first and spend second. Our fourth chapter is investing. And we go in on investing. We go into all the nitty gritty of all the types of investments that there are, what you can do with investments, looking at your current investment portfolio, looking at the future value of money, looking at what type of rate of return you've gotten, what to expect going forward, how to diversify some of those investments that you currently have, in order to help you with your plan. So we kind of do the financial analysis of your situation. If you have no investments, cool. Well, we build it from scratch. I'll show you what a Roth IRA is, show you what a traditional IRA is. Knowing that the limits are $6,000 a year, you get to see exactly how that works for your plans. If you have 30 years to live, well, guess what? Multiply that by 6, you'll see what type of money you'll be able to work with, future value. So we kind of will go into why investing is an important part after savings. And it's important to do it in that step. And I know there are people who do not agree that you should actually save money. Like you should never save money. Money in a savings account is worth nothing to you. I would say to those folks, wait until you have a busted boiler, or wait until you're in a hurricane and your house blows down and you need somewhere to stay for the next 3 weeks while they're rebuilding something for you temporarily. That's what savings is here for. If you have to put that in an investment account, right, and then withdraw that out of your investments, well, now the money's no longer working for you in an investment side, and you have nothing that you can use to kind of hold you over the gap. That's the part about savings to me that you can never argue against. There's always going to be a reason why you want your assets invested and to stay vested. They say that if you miss the top 5 days of trading in any given year, your portfolio's difference in income could be dramatically different. That could be drastically different. I use 2 words, dramatic. That's not even a real word. Dramatically different. It could be a difference of making 5% versus making 15% if you miss just the 5 best trading days of the year. So when we look at the opportunity for your money not to be working for you because you need to use it in an emergency, that's where savings habits come in handy, and having a plethora of avenues to get savings. Like for me, I do this thing where I have how many savings accounts do I have? I have 3 savings accounts, right? And what I do is I rotate my money into each of them. And when I get to 1,000, I move it to the next one. So they move up in the thousands. So let's say the first savings account, I have 1,000 in there. Okay, then I stop. I start contributing to the second savings account. Get to 1,000 in there, stop. To the third savings account, get 1,000 there, stop. Go back to the first, get that to 2,000. And I've been doing this for I don't know how long, but this is just something that I do. And the reason why I do it in 3 accounts is because I always want to make sure that my money is diversified, even in my savings, because each account has access to different things. So one account is a Black-owned bank. So I like that. Minority bank. I want to make sure my money's in there. The other one is one that's connected to my operating account for my personal life. So I love that. And then the third one is an account that's just sitting there that doesn't even have it doesn't even move. It doesn't go anywhere. It's literally just in its own digital space, sits there, does nothing. Because I want to make sure that if I'm pulling from anywhere, I'm pulling from certain places first. So the first place I'll pull from is my operating savings. That's like the one that's going to save me or bail me out if something happens dramatically, right? Then after that, I'm pulling from the Black-owned bank one. Secondly, if I need money and I've already burned through this one, I'm going through that one next. And if I'm going through that, I already know that the third one is up next. So I need to make sure that I'm keeping that going. So the goal is to have different pots that you can always jump into, right? When it comes to your savings. And if at any point in time you're comfortable, let's say I do this for 10 years and I have 10,000 each of these accounts, right? Cool. Well, then what I might do is that third account that I'd have to spend through these 2 to get to, I might invest that entire amount into something and allow that to be my new type of savings, where I'd have to go through these 2 things to then get to this third savings. But this third savings now is generating an income. It could be rent. It could have been leveraged to buy a property. It could have been leveraged to purchase stocks. It could have been leveraged to buy a life insurance policy for death. It could have been leveraged to anything, right? So that's kind of how you can turn cash and savings into long-term assets. And it's important that you think of it that way, because remember, if I had $30,000 in these accounts, right, long-term, and I wanted to transfer money to my kids, right? So wouldn't it make sense to spend the $10,000 to get a permanent $100,000 life insurance policy for my kid? Think about it. I've spent 10 grand. I've locked in guaranteed 100 grand for my kid when I die. I've just flipped that money 10 times without having to put an extra dime into it, right? That's another way that you leverage money. And in our community, think about it. COVID has been taking out people left and right, right? Imagine if everyone that died during COVID had a life insurance policy. Imagine if every parent of every person, so every melanated person, because you know that we've been dying faster than other people, right? During this pandemic. So if every melanated person bought a $50,000 life insurance policy or a $100,000 life insurance policy, just in case something happened, right? What do you think would be the result if they died in their family because of COVID or because of a hurricane or because of some other natural disaster, their family would be in a much better position. And the amount of deaths that I've seen coming across the news and folks that are just dying and folks that are in on ICU, I'm really wondering how many of them actually have insurance, life insurance. How many of them actually have disability insurance? How many of them actually have that type of planning inside of their savings portfolio? Because remember, savings isn't just for you. Savings is for your kids too. It's for your spouses. It's for your family if you're the breadwinner. Like, savings isn't just having cash in a savings account. All these things that are going to be accessible to people that need it in your family and your loved ones, that's considered a savings, however you want to slice it, all right? So it's important that when we go through these things, we're doing it in a way where we're putting the onus on why savings is important, why it has its own standalone, why investing is important, why it's its own standalone. And then the fifth chapter in our financial literacy course is diversification of holdings, asset classes, cryptocurrency, land, real estate, trusts, commodities, and other types of investments. We're going to look at why once you've gotten to chapter 5. So chapter 5 is essentially we've gone through the foundations of finance, we've gone through debt reconstruction, we've gotten to your savings habits, we've gotten to your investing habits, and then now that you've already gotten through all those 4, now we can dig deep into how we diversify what we currently have. Part of being an advisor back in the day was really making sure that our clients understood the power of diversification, the power of knowing that their stock portfolio, their mutual fund portfolio, their entire assets, all the things that they had in their name, that it was diversified in a way that was going to give them the most flexibility and growth potential long term. Because when one industry is doing poorly, another one's doing really good. When one industry is going through a bull market, an industry is going through a bear market. Sometimes they happen in synchronicity. Some happen one before the other at the same time. But if you're diversified, you're going to be able to be in a position to make money in any market. And that's the key. One of the things I came across the other day was an idea and a concept I want to share with you today. So we've talked about the financial literacy course. So hopefully you guys see some value in that. And if you do, definitely connect with me. Right now we have 5 students right now, and we're going to be opening that up to 25 over the next 30 days. And I think, again, the purpose of this is to get ourselves into a space where not only are we providing a very direct and specific type of assistance, but again, we're upping the ante. You know, this is 2021 going into 2022. You know, we want to make sure we're providing more value to you. And a lot of you have specific questions and specific financial positions that you don't that aren't generic. Like, you have a very unique family situation, very unique, financial situation. It's important for us to take each of your stories and each of your situations and give you the best advice that's going to be very specific to you. One thing that I remember on Clubhouse, I always talk about this on Clubhouse when I first got on there was a whole bunch of guys that were millionaires and like, I make all this money, I do investments, I do options, blah, blah, blah. And they were talking to maybe a 5% group of themselves. That's all they were talking to. Whereas the majority of the people in those rooms were just wondering how to get started. What's an investment account? What is a good thing to put my money into? How do I not lose what they were concerned about the basics. They weren't even in a space to understand that. And now we have folks who are following traders who are like going to show you their trade. Okay, I'm going to show you how this trade works. Sell, buy, follow what I'm doing. Buy, sell, buy, sell. And they're making money and they're loving it and they're learning along the way. But then this person that's trading their options didn't talk to them about how to set up their debt consolidation situation, how to know which credit card to pay off first, how to know how many cards they should have in the first place, how to dispute certain things on their credit history. Like, there are these parts that, again, if you're only focused on making money and not focused on the entire picture, you're going to be, missing out on a few things. And especially if you're making a big decision like getting married, buying a home, investing in a car, moving into a new neighborhood or a new country, any of those types of things, it's important to really understand the foundations of everything when it comes to money, because once you do, you're going to be well positioned to do whatever you need to do better, right? So that's the goal of this conversation, is really to get us into a space where you understand what we're offering. And then I wanted to discuss this subject with you. So came across this information the other day, and I'm gonna see if I can pull this up the way. So many of you are familiar with cryptocurrency and familiar with, how it works, right? But how many of you are familiar with what it costs to create cryptocurrency? So I'm sure most of you don't know that. So let's say what it costs to create crypto. My computer wants to freeze. Oh boy. It's slowing me down right now. I'm trying to get this over here on our YouTube channel. I think you guys can't see what I'm typing in. Let me add it to stream. Hold on. So I'm trying to figure out to create crypto. So mining cryptocurrency is the expensive part of creating crypto. So I'm going to go to Google. So the major expense for cryptocurrency, here it goes. Depending on your needs, creating a cryptocurrency can cost anywhere between $2,000 and $5,000. If you need a feature-rich, custom-built cryptocurrency, it can go as high as $5,000 or more. How much take to mine crypto? Bitcoin mining work, cryptocurrency Investopedia. So I want to just show you this real quick. Because I feel like if you guys understood a little bit about this process, what I'm going to say about it next is going to be better into it. So Bitcoin mining is a process in which new Bitcoins are entered into circulation, but it also is a critical component of maintenance and development of the blockchain ledger. It is performed using a very sophisticated computers that solve extremely complex computational math problems. Cryptocurrency mining is painstakingly costly and only sporadically rewarding. Nonetheless, mining has a magnetic appeal for many investors interested in cryptocurrency because of the fact that miners are rewarded for their work with crypto tokens. This may be because entrepreneurial types see mining as pennies from heaven, like California gold prospects in 1849. And if you are technology inclined, why not do it? However, before you invest the time and equipment, read this explainer to see whether mining is really for you. So let me go into the explainer. New Gold Rush, how to mine Bitcoins. Miners are getting paid for their work as auditors. They are doing the work of verifying the legitimacy of Bitcoin transactions. This convention is meant to keep Bitcoin users honest and was conceived by Bitcoin's founder. Okay, double spending scenario. Let's go into the money. So, let's say you had $20. I want how much it costs. Okay, so it's not telling me how much it costs. But let's put it this way, right? To mine Bitcoin, it requires a lot of power, a lot of electricity, because the computers that they use to run these algorithms and to actually do the mining, they need to be powered. And what a lot of folks have been doing, and I don't know if you noticed this, but China is actually one of the major miners of cryptocurrency, because to get electric power over there is a lot cheaper than to do it in the United States. So here's the concept that I'm going to bring to you. And this is something that was brought to me in a video, and I found it to be very interesting because with the way that energy is working across the world, right? We're moving from a very oil-centered energy consumption society to a renewable energy consumption society, right? A lot of those things have a certain amount of expense to it. So currently, mining of crypto is done in China because the cost of electricity is a lot cheaper than in the States. However, if there was another type of cryptocurrency that didn't require as much actual power to mine, how well would it fare in the future when it comes to its actual purpose and use and its ability long term, right? So let's say that we're looking at cars, right? If we're looking to do a road trip and there are 5 different cars that are able to take this road trip across the country. We have a Tesla, we have a Viper, Dodge Viper, we have a Honda Civic Hybrid, and we have a McLaren F1, and we have a motorcycle, a Gixxer 750. Okay, these 5 vehicles that we're gonna have. So the Gixxer, the Civic Hybrid, the what other cars are big? The Tesla, the Dodge Viper, and I'm missing a car. What car am I missing, y'all? Whatever. Anyway, I'm missing a car. Who cares? So of all these vehicles, right? I'm going to judge them based on whatever it's going to cost me to get across country. If I'm taking a trip from New York to LA, right? The motorcycle, because it's a lot smaller vehicle, has a smaller engine, it's going to have a lot more wear and tear on it if it's were to take that trip from New York to Cali. Not only that, it's not as comfortable because it's small. Cool. The Viper is going to be burning maybe 13 or 11 miles a gallon, and it is a V12. So chances are you have to fill up every hour 2 hours. So it's going to take you a while to get across country, especially in a car like that. And the tires are very thick. So you might experience a lot of bumpy roads when you are going, but whatever. Cool. The Civic gets you 400 miles a gallon. It's a hybrid. It's going to cost you half the gas that all these other vehicles will cost you, but it'll get you mileage. So you're going to make it across the country, and it's going to be small, so it's not as comfortable, right? But it's going to get you there pretty efficiently. And then you have your Tesla, which if you're connected to the superchargers, you charge for free. You pay nothing, and it's a luxury vehicle. So you would get across country. You would have to brake to stop to get gas, but you can fill up to 400 miles and drive again another 400 miles, stop, fill up your electrical for free, and keep going. Of all those vehicles, which one do you think is best built to have a comfortable ride from New York to California if everything worked out okay with that vehicle? Most likely the Tesla, right? Cool. That's what I think of when I think of where crypto is going and which cryptocurrencies are going to survive this mining aspect. Because going forward, if we're looking at crypto as the next wavelength, the next monetary usage, like the thing that we're going to use the most, well, we have to make sure we understand how much it costs. We're gonna have to know how much it costs. Like, what do miners have to pay to create a coin, right? What's going to be the cost of that? What's going to be the actual energy that's used to create that coin? Because the more efficient that gets, probably the better that coin will fare long term, especially when we're looking at a long haul. We're looking at an entire change of hands. So a gentleman that was speaking to us was talking about a cryptocurrency that literally takes almost nothing to create when it comes to energy consumption wise, right? So it's going to be a really good cryptocurrency to move into that direction. So I said a Prius. Okay, cool. All right. What's going on, everybody? I see a lot of folks joining up. So, again, this type of crypto that I saw and was told about, it's going to be the most efficient way to mine crypto in the future. If you don't know what this cryptocurrency is, I'm sure you've seen the ticker symbol before. And let's have a conversation about it, because to me, I feel like that's the beauty of our show. We can literally talk about ticker symbols, talk about what they're doing, talk about where they're moving, and see if it makes sense for us to kind of move in that direction or not. All right. So I want to find it in my chart. Hold on, y'all. Okay. So the ticker symbol is XRP. How many of you heard of XRP before? Right now. Also known as Ripple, XRP. If you've never heard of it, do some research. I want you to look up Ripple. I want you to look up news articles about Ripple. Right now it's trading for $1.22 a share. And based on what I'm looking at, I think that this currency is going to be one where long-term wise, it's going to be useful for us to take a look at this as a potential crypto opportunity. And let's go and share my screen. Let's share my screen here. Share screen. And I want to share this window. Boom. Share. So right now you can see my cryptocurrency situation here. Okay, boom. Ripple. Okay, cool. So we can see this page, right? So let's look at Ripple USD. So over the last, let's look up month. Look at what they've been doing. 1 month ago, right? A month ago, they were trading at 71 cents. Now they're trading at $1.34, right? Which is fine. Sorry, there was something trying to fly. I had to kill it. So these are the types of things that, again, when I'm looking at crypto, I'm only interested in cryptocurrencies that I can get into at a pretty decent clip that are going to provide me with a lot of growth, right? Because of the way that mining is done for XRP, I agree with this person who said that this is literally the play. This is the move, right? The move is to increase our potential in this current position and see what it's going to do long term as it weeds out with everyone else. Now, I want you to do this homework for me because I already did this, but it doesn't benefit you to hear me tell you exactly what I found out, right? So Google or YouTube or Yahoo Finance, XRP, and get to know that option. Get to know what that cryptocurrency coin is doing, get to know what it's used for, get to know why it's even here, and let's have a conversation about it literally next week. How about that? I'm into giving people homework. I like homework. Homework is a beautiful thing. It gets people into the right space. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. How do you guys feel about that? No? Yes? Nothing to say? All right, let me say hi to the people. Adam, what's going on, brother? Nice to see you. Creative Odyssey, what's going on? Aki, what's going on? Creative Flower, hey, what's going on? Long time. Flower, long time. Congolese, Kels, what's up? Kung Pao, what's going on, dear? Nice to see you. Tisha and Tanisha, all the T's up in the house. What's going on, Tanisha? What's going on, Tisha? How you doing? Chantel, what's up? Long time. GT Man, nice to see you, brother. Tice, I saw you on the live. I was gonna join it, but I had to open up mine, so I'm like, damn it, I can't join you. I can't hop on your live right now. And yes, Lexi. Yes, Miss Lexi. Nice to see you too. Hopefully I said that right. All right, so I want you guys to do a quick favor. Just Google XRP, Google or YouTube XRP, and just get to learn about it, because again, that's the efficient type of crypto right now that I'm seeing, that the price point is extremely reasonable. And if it does what I think it's going to do, and based on what this gentleman said, I agree. I agree that the cost of mining something is going to be inherent in its opportunity in the future. The reason why Teslas are moving the way they were moving and why people are mimicking them is because their model made sense. Not only did they lock down the electric car market, they locked down the charging stations. Like, they already thought 5 steps ahead. So now they're actually going to allow folks to supercharge at their stations eventually, because Tesla stations are going to be the main type of electrical stations for cars in this country. See, Elon was not dumb when he did what he did. And now let's break this down real quick. I'm going to talk to y'all. Let me talk to y'all like y'all are my family members, right? Let's talk. Let's talk for a second. Elon Musk, right? This guy is brilliant. You know what he did? He said, I'm going to make a car that no one else is going to be able to make the way I make it. And then I'm going to charge my car at my own stations. And then I'm going to share my code with people so they can make cars just like mine. But what they're going to be missing out is I'm already going to be in the charging business. I'm going to monopolize the opportunity for charging your car across any country that I put my car in. I'm going to monopolize that ahead of you, give you the blueprint to make more cars that I can use at my charging stations, and say thank you for paying me per charge. You see the play? So he went in, created something that was unique, created a system to support the thing that he created, and then showed you how to make more of what he created. And then he's going to charge you to use what he's been preparing you for, which is the charging stations. Tesla was not dumb. They're going into this knowing that they want to be the main distributor of electric power to electric vehicles. And they made the right bet, because in California in 2030, you can't even have a gas car in California in 2030. So you have to have a charging station, or you have to have access to charging your vehicle either at home or when you're on a road trip somewhere. And guess what you're going to use? Most likely things that are already built in. It's a very brilliant move that they made. And that's the type of stuff that makes me understand, like, if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to do this the right way, make sure you plan for everything. Plan for all of it, the full circle. Right now, my buddies and I are putting together this program. We're doing this thing. It's undercover. I can't tell you guys about it till 3 years down the road. But just know I'm working on some stuff. But to work on the things I'm working on, I have to be all up immersed into it to understand the way that it works, so that we can create the perfect system to make it work. Entrepreneurs know about this. Like, when you're an entrepreneur, you have to know your market, you have to know your product, and you have to merge those two together, where you're like, hey, you're marketing to your market, you're putting out a product that's exactly what's requested and what's needed in the community or in the area that you're trying to have an expertise in, and you are going 100% there, right? In my research, I've been realizing that there are so many opportunities for us to find these areas where we can put our mark on this planet. So definitely want to encourage you to find your mark, but along the way, make sure that you're investing in things that are going to be long-term beneficial for you. So the last thing I want to talk about, any questions about that? No questions about that? Okay, the last thing we're going to talk about is your health. your health. Not only your mental health, but your physical health, right? So you know that we're in a pandemic. You know that there's going to be laws mandating certain things. We have to be careful with how we make our next steps. Everything that you do from this point going forward is going to either be a life or death situation. I know that sounds dire, but this is my belief. I believe that we are in a time now where we need to really judge our friendships, judge our relationships, judge our work relationships, judge, the energy that we spend in areas that may not be serving us as a community or as an individual. This is a time where all of it, my battery's getting low. So clearly this live's going to end soon. This is a time where we have to really make sure that we are putting ourselves in the best position to win. Now, I stumbled across this Big Brother cookout situation where the melanated folks are combining and voting off all of the other people on the show. And there's a whole uproar about that, right? And the uproar isn't from folks that look like me or you, if you look like me. It's from folks that are a little bit lighter, right? And they're mad at the fact that if they were to do the same thing, would that be racist or would that be, a disadvantaged situation? And I think about that and I say, well, the entire country was actually built that way. And it's still that way to this day. You're talking about a game show where people are literally voting out everyone that's not black on an Issa Rae type of tip. I'm support everything black. And they're doing it strategically. They've never had the numbers to do that in the first place in any of these types of things. So it's never been an option. But now that we understand who we are and we're standing in our unity, things like that can happen. But guess who's been doing that before we did that? We didn't learn it ourselves. We knew it before to be all of community focused. But in this country specifically, there's been a group of folks that has just been supporting each other for everything at all points in time. And it's cool. I'm not gonna hate on it. I understand that's the nature of the system. That's why I'm just divesting of it. I'm good. Like I don't need to be a part of a system that doesn't have a place for me, right? So here's where I'm gonna go with this, with the mental health and the physical health piece, right? You have to find what matters most to you. And you have to figure out why that matters most to you. If you follow us, we've been talking about money, we've been talking about finances, investments, things like that. I don't even care about finances. I don't care about investments, to be honest. If I'm going to be honest with you, like I know it, so I'm teaching it, I'm sharing it. We have to understand the nature of this product that we're working with, fine. But if you asked me if I would trade something of my character or if I would trade a part of my morality to have access to more capital to invest or do things that are against my beliefs in order to gain wealth and wisdom and that, I wouldn't do it. The money's not worth it to me. And it's never been worth it to me. That's why I left my financial advising position and decided to go work for a nonprofit with my father. The reason why I did that was because I realized that if I'm going to add my value to anything, it's going to be something of meaningful, like meaningful creation, usage. It's going to be meaningful. It's going to be impactful. And I wasn't being impactful as a financial advisor back then. I was talking to folks with money, helping them invest their money. That wasn't helping my community or people look like me. Folks like me were getting put in jail for marijuana convictions. Like there wasn't any, I wasn't helping us at that time. So what I decided to do, I went in the hood, talked to the drug dealers, talked to the folks that were on the block, talked to them about their mothers, saying, do they have a burial policy? If not, let me sell them a little tiny policy here or there. Tell them about some stocks, this, that, and the third. I would give them a little advice here and there, but I didn't get paid for that. But I'd rather do that than work with a wealthy person who didn't appreciate my work. So that's why I'm saying, whatever motivates you, if it's a sense of self, if it's uplifting your own wants and desires, if it's, what car you drive, if it's what shoes you wear or where you work, if it's the company you keep, whatever you value, put more of your energy into those things. But before you do, ask yourself, is what I value valuable? If I value impacting people's lives, that's valuable. I can put my time and energy into that and not feel like I'm cheating myself or my soul. If I value PlayStation 5s and I put my energy into that, am I really impacting my community? I asked my wife, like I love Madden. It's a game I play. I've played that thing probably 3 times in the past 2 months. And usually I'd play every day. Like when 2K came out, I was playing every day, but I've stopped. Why? Because there are new things now that I value that I'm putting my time to that require my time. And it's not to say that video games are bad. I love games. And as soon as I'm done with my value proposition, I'm going to get back to doing what I do. However, in the meantime, I understand that right now is a time to grind. This is the grind time. This is the time to literally dig in for 2022. Like, you have to know the last quarter of the year, which we just entered. September just started, right? September 1. The last quarter of the year is going to be how your first quarter. Oh, I'm reconnecting over here, which is interesting. Pause due to poor connection. Okay, so YouTube, we're still good. Hey, pause due to poor connection. Ask me what that means. I have no idea. Let's go to that. So we're gonna hop on the Wi-Fi on there. Hopefully the Wi-Fi works better for you guys up there. But YouTube was rocking me the whole time. So IG, get your shit together. But yeah, like, this is a time to grind. The last quarter of the year is your time to get ready for the next year. So I'm talking to people about, what do you want your money to do for you to end the year? And what are your goals for 2022? Like, that conversation already started right now. Like, if you're thinking about this year only, you're already planning in reaction. Like, you're reactively planning. Do not do that. Plan proactively. Be in next year. So right now, here's what I want you to do. Look at the things that you spend your time on. Look at the things that you spend your money on. Look at the things that you spend your energy on. And ask yourself, what has this given me for the year? What have I gained from this expenditure of myself this in 2021? If you spent time improving your health, look at the results. Are they there? If you spend time improving a relationship, look at the results. Are they there? If you spend time improving yourself and your mental strength, check the results. Are you stronger mentally today than you were when you started? If you're trying to be healthy, you're trying to be fit, are you fit? Like, what were the results? Look at the last 3 quarters. Did you have the results that you were aiming for? You spent your time in these areas. Okay, cool. So now that I know that result, was it beneficial to me? Did it help me? Did it put me in a better position? If it didn't, here's your time to adjust that for next year. So adjust if you need to, where you spend your time. Adjust if you need to, where you spend your money. Adjust where you need to, if you spend, like, where you spend your emotional capital. Adjust where you spend your spirit. Like, don't allow people to use your energy and give you nothing for that in return. I'd rather you donate your energy and give it to a cause that's worthy of it than you giving it to someone who doesn't even deserve it. I'm good on that in 2022. Like, in 2022, I'm divesting from anything and anyone that doesn't serve a higher purpose. If you are not serving a higher purpose, you're getting left wherever you are. Like, that's just how it has to be for me in 2022, because I've realized that in 2021, folks took their freedoms for granted and they're being stolen from you. They're being taken from you now. So the freedoms that you took for granted now are being taken from you under the guise of protecting others, right? Cool. I'm good on that. I'm good on you thinking that you can take something that doesn't belong to you. I'm good on you. Like, you can go wherever you were with that and enjoy all of that. And if you want me to believe that you can take something from me that never belonged to you in the first place, I'm going to say I know different. And as a matter of fact, this conversation just ended. You can go have a nice day thinking you got what you thought you got, and I'm going to keep what I know I have. My mom called me today talking about, the issues in Toronto and what's happening up there. And I'm like, listen, you guys lucky I'm not in Toronto. I'd be raising hell up there. I'd be raising hell up there, because you have to know your power. Understand that these are not privileges. These aren't something that you're supposed to earn. No, these are rights. You have a right to make a decision. You have a right to understand exactly all the implications of the decision you want to make. You have a right to ask your employer, what is the goal if something were to happen to me based on what you're asking me to mandate? What happens to my family if something happens to me? Are you going to take care of them? Because if you are, I'll sign up and do whatever you need me to do. If you're not, what's my recourse? Give me solutions. I'm done being defensive with how I feel about certain things. I'm going to take the offensive position, which is I'm going to move towards whatever I think I want, regardless of how it impacts you. And I'm not going to want something that's going to, negatively impact the folks around me. No. But I'm going to want what's going to impact me in a positive way because I'm impacting people in a positive way. There's no time for waste. And I think a lot of times when I look at all the people that I worked for, I love working for my dad right now because I understand that I'm working for a community organization that is building roads to give people access to certain health options that they wouldn't have access to, giving them knowledge, understanding, opening opportunities for them to get housing, to get access to a clean shower, washing their clothes, a 24-hour access, like access to testing, access to, rehabilitation, access to mental counselors. Like, the company is doing so many amazing things. How can I not add my value to that, right? Cool. That's a meaningful, actual company. It makes sense. But if you're working for somebody who sees you as a number that's just making them money, and you're not providing a value to your community or to your family or to yourself, uplifting anything or anyone, there's no longer space for that in the world to come. In the world to come, there's only going to be space for things that have a morality that is positive, that is going to be impactful to people in our community or in your community, whatever community you are. That's where everything needs to go. Till it's there, you won't see me outside. You won't see me wasting my time on certain things. Everything is going to be about making value. And that's why, to bring it full circle, this financial literacy course that we're trying to, fundraise for and put money towards, it's a part of the puzzle because I know that when folks can stop thinking about money, they can actually focus on the true things of life. If you're stressed out about where you live, about where you work, about when your next meal is going to come, you can't think about being a benefit to the community. You can't think about taking a trip to Africa and seeing your heritage or seeing where you're from, or taking a trip to the South and seeing where your ancestors are from, or seeing a museum in another part of Central America, or going to the Aztec temples, like going to Machu Picchu. Like, you can't even experience the beauty on this planet without money, right? Cool. But there are beautiful things around you that you can experience with nothing. Are you focused and tapped into seeing that, right? Are you able to financially see the wealth of being in nature, the wealth of having plants? And my wife did all this, by the way. I have nothing to do with any of these. Maybe that one right there. Which one? That one is me, and that one is me. But the other two, these two, that's her right there. So investing in yourself, investing in your environment, investing in your health, you need to take this time to understand your health is everything for 2022. We're going to have variants, and we talked about this, I don't know how many episodes ago, I think maybe 5 months ago, about the variants and how they're created, right? A virus is a person. It's trying to survive. A virus will more likely kill an unvaccinated person than become a variant inside of them. It doesn't have a chance. It doesn't need to mutate because it's already inoculating this person. This person has no defenses. It's coming for you. It's going to either put you in the hospital, whatever. You know what I mean? So it's not going to mutate inside of an unvaccinated person. However, if I'm vaccinated in this example, and I get the virus and I don't get sick, I have no symptoms. The virus can't multiply in me because my vaccine is crushing its behind. Okay, it's going to try to adapt to infect me more. And it adapts in the person that doesn't have any sort of reaction that can block and stop it. It's trying to survive. Why would I get difficult for something that I can already kill, as opposed to something that's not dying that I'm trying to kill, right? That's the basis behind variants. So the more people that are protected against our COVID, the more opportunity this virus has to now try to become stronger because it's trying to infect those protected individuals. It's a very simple nature type of situation, right? So understand that more are coming and they're going to be more dangerous. So what can you do to prevent yourself from ending up in a hospital bed? Because those beds are now, you can't even get a bed right now in certain parts of this country. The hospitals are overrun, okay? So what can you do? Understand that your body is carbon. You need to contribute nutrients into your body that can fight and give you immune defense, the best opportunity to fight any sort of variant, right? And granted, you got to be smart. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, if you're going out partying right now and you know that people are ending up in the hospital because the Delta variant and the Theta, Epsilon, whatever other Greek numbers they want to give you, there's a bunch of variants right now. They only call them about the one, but there's a bunch of others. If you're going out and partying, having a good time, knowing that this thing is out there trying to take us out, you're being irresponsible. Make sure that you're at least protecting yourself from everyone else, washing your hands, doing all the hygiene things you're supposed to do, but strengthen your immune system and strengthen your decision making. Like this is not the time to play. You have goals and objectives in 2022. And guess what? If you die before you get to the end of the road, what good is that for you, right? So I'm going to end it with this. Where you spend your time, where you spend your energy says more about you than anything else. Wow. Emergencies on the phone, on the watch, flash flood warning, blah, 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 evacuation, flood under. I ain't going anywhere tonight. So mu is the new one. So mu. So next one's going to be pi, Omicron, nu, mu. So alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, eta, theta, iota, kappa, lambda, mu. Nu is the next one. Xi, Omicron, pi, rho, sigma, tau, upsilon, phi, chi, psi, omega. That's the Greek alphabet, right? So they're just labeling these things as they go down. Cool. I don't care which one comes. If you strengthen your stuff and you are not exposed or you limit exposure to certain things, get sunlight, get the right nutrition in your body, eat the right things, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. It's folks that take that for granted that end up making decisions that lead to them being hospitalized. So folks, this is our time. It's 2021, final quarter. This is the final push. Work hard at everything. Whatever you were doing, do it 10% more. That's it. Do 10% more. And hopefully you make it to that place where you're going to be able to see the goals that you have set up and set out for 2021. All right. So folks, I appreciate y'all. This was a quick thing. We didn't start on time, but I'm happy you guys heard about our financial literacy program. Just to wrap up, financial literacy program, we're offering our course right now to 5 students, and we're going to be opening up to 25 more students. The areas in our chapters are chapter 1 is foundations, chapter 2 is debt reconstruction, chapter 3 is savings, chapter 4 is investing, and chapter 5 is diversification of holdings. And that's going to be when we actually look at your entire list of holdings and try to figure out how we can make sure that no matter what the market does, no matter what the market doesn't do, you're still going to be in a position where you have assets that can work for you no matter what. All right. So folks, appreciate y'all. Thank you for joining us on our podcast. I'm out on here, IG first, and we'll kill off YouTube second. So IG, appreciate y'all. Thanks for, and the wife put in elderberry. Yeah. Look up these things, man. There's a lot of natural remedies for a lot of things. Remember, most diseases and things of health are inflammation of certain parts of your body. So if you can reduce inflammation in your diet, reduce inflammation in how you actually eat, consume, when you consume, your body is better prepared to handle inflammatory things. So a virus is inflammatory. That's what it does. It comes in and it inflames your lungs, inflames your nasal passages, it inflames things. And then it clots your blood, again, leading into more things. So all the stuff, right? So the key is to be less inflamed, right? So that's the key. All right, folks. And CMOS. Yep. Look at the comments, y'all. Just look at the comments. CMOS, elderberry, and there's a lot more. All right. So folks, love you guys. Catch you guys next week. Be safe. Remember, put your time into the right things in this last quarter. Push as hard as you can. All right. Peace. All right, YouTube. So thank you for holding us down. You know, me and my music. I can't be out here and not play you guys my stuff because I just enjoy making sure that we leave on the right note. So that's that. You know how that goes. So hopefully you guys had a good time. I'm going to listen to this real quick. Yeah, we gotta chill out, you know. But make sure your diet is good. We're trying to be here. Trying to be here together. We're not trying to die off. So, actually, as a matter of fact, let me give you guys another intro because yeah, Fred's cool, but I feel like this. Yeah, I feel like this. This is what we're gonna do tonight. All right, so folks,
Yep,
we don't need no rush.
that's an episode. That's it, y'all. Remember, it ain't never that serious. Thanks for joining us on our Way podcast. We'll see you guys next time. Later.
Ain't that guy smooth? Ain't he so smooth? He's so smooth, that guy. I tell you, I like that guy.
Who not drinking none, no sin. Everybody could come in and jump with the biggest team. Who wants a belt waist, no sin.
All right, so that's how that's gonna go. That's how we do that. All right, we got to make sure that we're doing our thing. So, folks, appreciate y'all, love y'all, and I will catch you guys next week. Thanks for always hanging out, keeping us in your prayers and in our thoughts. And just a quick thing, message me if you're interested in a stock tip. I got one. I ain't gonna give you all the free goods, but if you message me, I'll give you a tip. I think there's one that's gonna make some money in the next couple of weeks. So message us at The Way Podcast. Just click the link in my IG, Benargio, and say, hey, what stock were you talking about? And let's talk about it. All right, folks. Love you. Appreciate you guys. See you guys next week. Adios. Peace.